Good morning, gentlemen. Part 3 of the grind set series. We're here on the way to the gym. It's a Saturday morning, not too early. It's 6:20, so I had a bit of a sleep in. But yeah, we've prayed a bit, and now we're going to drive to the gym, hit the final workout of the week. We'll be doing chest and arms, some lunges and things like that, abs, and then we'll get on with the day. And I thought I'd take this time, seeing as it's about a 10-12 minute drive to the gym, depending on how much I'm speeding, to talk about this important topic, which is actually quite relevant to what I'm doing now, which is true leisure and whether or not the grind set actually stops. Now, we want to get some language correct here, because if we're viewing the grind set only as work, then of course the grind set stops, because there's times where we're not meant to be working. So I guess the initial face value answer of that question is yes, the grind set does stop. And I guess let me explain how I view the grind set. How I view the grind set, and then we'll put it into the context of leisure. So the grind set, I don't know if you guys have seen that real popular video of that South African guy who walks up to these guys and he's like, guys, there's a huge party going on, there'll be heaps of girls, there'll be heaps of fun, let's do it. And then he says, that's not my kind of fun. And then he goes into this monologue and he says, I'm all about God, gains and growth, or something like that, which is based as, but that's ultimately the mentality that I think there's various pillars as a man that we have to work on. So we've obviously got our physical discipline, we've got our spiritual life, our intellectual development, and our professional development. So if at any time we're neglecting one of these, I think there's room to change and improve as a man. So back to the grind set. The grind set is basically where you're living your life in such a way that you're working on all 4 of those pillars, and that you're not compromising any of them. And now you might ask, wait Tomas, I haven't heard you say anything about social life. Where does that fit in? Well, of course social life fits in there, but if it's actually contradicting one of the other pillars, then I'm going to question how important it actually is. Like, I think your circle of friends, I saw this great video and it said that your best friend is your biggest fan and your greatest competitor at the same time. So the people that we surround ourselves with should not be in conflict with any of what I'm talking about now. And if it is, and if those people are, then that's trouble, because we don't have much time. So if the time that we're spending with people is actively bringing us down, or is not bringing us closer to our goals as men, then I see that as a problem. Okay, so we've got those 4 pillars of growth. I don't actually know what way to go. And so I think as men we should be actively working towards that, and usually what that looks like in the practical day-to-day is that you're going to be working most of the time, and if you're not working you're reading, and if you're not reading you're eating, and if you're not eating you're sleeping. Like there's genuinely not a lot of leftover time in this sort of scenario. And the other thing that I want to speak to here is that God rested on the 7th day, not the 6th. And that's why today on Saturday I'm going to drive to the gym, and I'm going to clock in a good couple hours of work after this as well, after I've run a few errands, because it doesn't mean I'm not tired. Like yesterday I was pretty wrecked at the end of the day of work, but you know, there's still one more day to go hard and leave everything on the table, hit a workout, and then I've got tomorrow to recover. You know, that's kind of the way I think we should have our week set up. And even if you're not actually, let's say, going to work or going to a job on Saturday, which I think is actually a really good thing, because most people, if they don't have work in place, or if they don't have something that's productive in a structured way, they end up wasting the day anyway. So you might as well just commit to working on a Saturday and get some extra cash in that way. But if that's not the case, then you should really fill it with good productive things. So that might be waking up at a set time instead of having a fat sleep in. Okay, I'm going to read a book today. I'm going to read a book about about business. I'm going to start reading some theology. I'm going to sign up for a university course and start working part-time towards a degree. There's heaps of little things that you can do. That doesn't include gym. That doesn't include professional development, signing up for a course, listening to stuff online. Like, the amount of resources at our fingertips are incredible. And I think to not actively take advantage of that as a man, you're going to be disadvantaged. Like, there's no reason not to. Like, everyone has time where they're not being productive or they're being wasteful. And I'm not talking about sacrificing time spent with family, but everyone has little time around the edges. And I'm even speaking to myself, where you could be using that for something better, where you could be reading a productive book instead of going on your phone. Many scenarios like that. So I think where my baseline standard approach for life as a man is, that might be higher than some of you, it might be lower than some of you, but I'm looking at filling 6 days, at least up to Saturday 4 p.m. with work related activities. And I mean that as work on myself, not necessarily job, but I'm either making money, I'm either getting gains, I'm either working on my spiritual life, going to adoration and all of that. Yeah, you can make the list, but that's what you're going to find me doing. Like, I'm not going to be, going for a swim or sleeping in, and I don't know what other examples to give you. I can't even watching a movie on a Saturday, for example, during the day or something. Point being, that stuff is going to be left till Sunday, if it comes up at all. So now with the 6 work days, now let's jump to, okay, well, are we actually meant to rest? Or what does rest in the grind set look like? And this is really important as well, because I guess people have this bad mentality, and that's really the point of the video, that do I go off the grind set sometimes? And that's wrong, because that's the wrong way to view leisure. So leisure is meant to be this thing that renews us and like refreshes our character, and it's like true rest. Now, true rest is only found in the divine, so it's only found in silence, in contemplation, or in communion with others, but it's only really found in those good holy things that God has set out to be refreshing to us. Okay, so with that in mind, is going out drinking late on a Saturday night true leisure? No. Is binge watching a freaking Netflix series on Saturday or Friday true leisure? No. Is going to a concert true leisure? Maybe, probably not, depending on the freaking music. But yeah, you basically start to rule out those things, and there's 2 reasons why they're not true leisure. One is because they don't truly refresh us. Like, you're adding in more noise. You're not actually developing an inner peace in your soul. It's not really contributing to the mindset that you want to have. And 2, physically speaking, those activities detract from us. What does going to a party on Saturday night do to you if you're drinking and freaking getting home at 1 or 2 in the morning, which, to be honest, is a conservative time for a lot of modern gatherings nowadays? Well, 1, you've now lost your ability to do anything on a Sunday because you're tired as crap and you're catching up on sleep. You can't even go to mass and have decent prayer time, and you're just basically scrambling to recover to be ready in time for work on Monday. So you've completely ruined your opportunity for actual true leisure on the Sunday, and you're putting yourself behind physically. Like, alcohol, I'm so sick of people acting like alcohol is this acceptable thing and that it's like fine to have all the time, and because it's not cigarettes, apparently it's not hyper addictive. Alcohol is just as destructive as cigarettes. Like, it's a full toxin to the body. You're going to be destroying your brain cells, putting stress on your liver, ruining your sleep quality as well for the coming night. And I'm not trying to be a prude. I don't mind the drink every now and again, but I also don't find much attraction in it. And societally, it's become acceptable to the point where I think it's way more prevalent than it needs to be. And the reality is, most Fridays and Saturday nights, I'm so you need to be finishing your week, guys, not freaking doing all of this other crap. Now, that's not to say you can't go to a party or go to something every now and again. It's obviously important to cultivate and maintain friendships. But again, you want to be cultivating those friendships that are actually with people that are beside you, shoulder to shoulder, facing the real world, facing reality, freaking on the grind set, growing closer to Christ. Those are the people that I'm spending time with. I'm going to go to the gym with you. Let's hit a workout together. Let's spend time together that way. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Like, we're called to have charity towards others, but we're also not called to be like, what would you call it? Almost like socially promiscuous, where you have to interact and spend heaps of hours with every man and his dog out on the street. Like, sure, there's an element of that that's necessary for evangelization, but that's not what we're talking about here. So anyway, so that's true leisure. It needs to be conducive to the good life. That's ultimately the one line that you've got to remember. If the leisure is not actually conducive to the good life, then I'm questioning whether or not it's true leisure. And if it's not conducive to the good life, you probably are off the grind set. So if you're staying on the grind set, the true leisure would look like you're still having early nights, you're still eating clean, you're still getting all your workouts in, and you're going to be taking the time to read or spend time doing something that genuinely nourishes your soul, whether that be with other people, with good holy books, with good movies. I'm not saying you can't watch movies. By spending time in prayer, that is what true leisure is, and that is the end of man. The end of man is not to work. The end of man is to rest in God. So our true leisure needs to be always pointing and focusing on that. And if you disagree with me, like, you're really just coping, because this is obviously the case from Scripture and from what all the saints have said. So I think anything that falls outside of that framework, I'm not saying you're sinning or anything like that, but I guess we all have different escape routes. For one reason or another, we're not willing to face reality as it stands. Maybe we find it too difficult. I'm not saying the grind set is easy, but yeah. Anyway, I hope that was helpful, guys. I'm just pulling up at the gym now. Gonna hit a fat workout. I always let myself do sort of a bit more of the fun stuff on a Saturday, just as like a little treat. So yeah, looking forward to it. Alright guys, God bless. We'll see you on the next one. Please comment if you thought it was good. Let me know what you think, and any other video suggestions as well would be great. Alright, God bless.